There is a quiet exhaustion that settles into the soul of a woman who has spent her life living for others. It is not the exhaustion of work or sleepless nights. It is the deeper, more devastating fatigue of carrying a life that does not truly belong to her. From the earliest days, she is praised for being accommodating, selfless, agreeable, rewarded not for who she is, but for how well she disappears into the needs and expectations of those around her. Slowly, invisibly, she learns the art of self-erasure. She becomes fluent in the language of pleasing, expert at silencing the small, stubborn voice inside that dares to whisper, "What about me?" Carl Jung understood this invisible tragedy. He saw that the great danger of living through the persona, the socially constructed mask we wear to gain approval, is that we lose contact with the self, the true center of our being. The persona may win applause, affection, even admiration, but at a devastating cost, the slow erosion of authenticity. We begin to forget our own desires, our own dreams. We begin to believe that our worth is measured only by how useful we are to others, how well we fit the mold. And each time we betray ourselves in favor of acceptance, a piece of our soul drifts further away. Living for others feels safe at first. It feels familiar, but over time, it becomes a gilded cage. A cage made not of iron but of expectation. We perform the roles handed to us, daughter, partner, mother, friend, with diligence and care, but inside, a quiet ache grows. A longing not just to be seen, but to be known. Not just to be needed, but to be understood. And perhaps the most painful realization comes when we understand that the life we have built so carefully is not truly ours. It is a reflection of what others wanted, not a manifestation of who we are. Jung's path of individuation, the journey toward becoming one's true self, demands a reckoning with this painful truth. It asks, whose life are you living? Whose dreams are you chasing? Whose approval are you still seeking? These are not comfortable questions. They are questions that shake the foundation of a life built on pleasing others. But they are necessary. Because a life lived entirely for others is a life half-lived. And the soul, Jung teaches, will not be silenced forever. It will call. First, softly, then louder, until the call can no longer be ignored. Today, I invite you to pause, to set down the weight of who you think you must be. To listen, not to the clamor of the world, but to the quiet, steady voice inside you that remembers who you are. The journey back to yourself is not an act of rebellion. It is an act of remembrance. It is the sacred, courageous choice to stop living for others and to begin, finally, to live for yourself. The most dangerous prisons are the ones we cannot see. They are the ones we build ourselves, brick by invisible brick, often with the best of intentions. A kind word unsaid to avoid conflict. A dream quietly abandoned to keep peace. A need stifled. A boundary dissolved, a silence maintained. Each small act of self-erasure feels harmless in isolation. But over time, they weave a net so fine, so intricate, that we don't even realize we are entangled. We call it kindness. We call it loyalty. We call it love. But Carl Jung would call it what it truly is, self-abandonment. Pleasing others often begins as an innocent desire to connect, to belong, to be loved. It feels noble. It feels safe. But beneath the surface, it carries a profound danger. The danger of losing oneself entirely. When the need for approval outweighs the need for authenticity, we begin to trade away pieces of ourselves like coins in a marketplace. A truth left unspoken here, a dream deferred there. Until one day, we wake up to a life that feels foreign, beautiful perhaps on the outside, but hollow within. Jung spoke often of the shadow, the parts of ourselves we hide because we fear they are unacceptable. But when we live for others, the entire self becomes shadowed. We suppress not just our anger, our fear, our flaws. We suppress our brilliance, our passion, our wildness. We become phantoms in our own lives, haunting the spaces we were meant to inhabit fully. And the price we pay for this haunting is steep: resentment, exhaustion, a vague, persistent emptiness that no amount of approval can ever fill. The tragedy of living for others is that it rarely brings the connection we crave. Because no one can truly love a mask. No one can truly connect with a persona. What they love is the reflection we offer them, polished, edited, incomplete. And deep down, we know it. We feel the aching loneliness of being unseen, even in a room full of admirers. We feel the hollow sting of being needed, but not known. We wonder if, beneath all the approval, there is anyone who would stay if they saw the real, unvarnished truth of who we are. To continue living for others is to remain locked in this invisible cage. But to choose ourselves, to begin the terrifying, liberating work of individuation, is to find the key. Jung taught that the path to true wholeness begins when we turn inward, when we reclaim what we have abandoned in the name of pleasing others. It is not an easy path. It demands courage. It demands the willingness to be misunderstood, even rejected. But it is the only path that leads home. There comes a moment, often quiet, often unexpected, when the life we have so carefully built begins to tremble. It might be a whisper of dissatisfaction in the stillness of the night. It might be a sudden emptiness after achieving what we thought would bring fulfillment. It might be the silent rebellion of our own body, weary of carrying the burden of pretense. Whatever form it takes, it is unmistakable. It is the soul's call to return home. Carl Jung knew this call well, the voice of the self, insistent and patient, urging us to reclaim the parts we have long forsaken. At first, we resist. We tell ourselves to be grateful. We remind ourselves of the comfort, the stability, the approval we have earned. We point to the carefully curated life we have constructed and ask, isn't this enough? But the soul is not interested in comfort. The soul is not interested in approval. The soul seeks only one thing: authenticity. And when we have strayed too far from our true nature, it will call us back, not with shouts, but with silence, not with demands, but with longing. This awakening is not dramatic. It is not the thunderclap of revelation we expect. It is subtler, deeper, a restlessness we cannot explain, a discontent that refuses to be soothed by external success, a yearning for something we cannot name but feel with a certainty that unnerves us. Jung would say it is the self-stirring, pushing through the cracks in the persona we have so carefully maintained. It is the part of us that remembers who we were before the world told us who we should be. To hear this call is to stand at a crossroads. One path leads back to the familiar, the life of pleasing, performing, surviving. The other leads into the unknown, into a wilderness where the only map is the whisper of our own heart. Choosing to return to ourselves is not easy. It means disappointing others. It means shedding roles that once defined us. It means facing the fear of rejection, of loneliness, of change.